welcome back to another Parts Factory Australia installation tutorial video. Guys, back out in the farm working on this Jeep Patriot, but this video is going to be for both the Patriot and the Cherokee. They have the same motor. They're a very similar car, in fact. Yeah, same motor, same gearbox, same starter motor. Specifically, I'm going to be doing an auto. You're going to be able to use this video for both. Starter motor's just here under this intake hose. It's probably going to take about half an hour real time. Other than that, guys, if you did need this part, don't forget, anything Parts Factory does tutorial videos on, we also sell that part. So click on the title of the video if you're on mobile, description will pop down, click the link, order it, get it to your door. We're going to ship it anywhere in Australia for free. I think they're about $173.30. If you compare that to Jeep, you know, $500-600. You're going to save some money. Other than that, guys, let's jump into it, eh? Alrighty, guys, so your starter motor is down there. Now, I'm not even going to bother showing you because the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this intake hose, get rid of this battery. I might even pull this out just to make the video a bit more legible for you, the viewer. But I reckon you could do it without removing this, but I'm going to pull it all out. That way you get in there a bit easier. Alrighty, I'm going to start with the battery. Now, mine just has two loose clamps. I'm not even sure if the battery's clamped in. Looks like it, no, it isn't. Yours might be. If you look straight down like that, you'll find a little 13mm battery clamp. Just loosen it off. Once you loosen it off, the battery clamp will slide back. You can lift your battery out. Now, it looks like I got four 13mm holding this battery box in. I'm also going to remove the battery box, again, just to make the video a bit better for the viewers. Okay, so we're going to use a 13mm. I'm going to remove this battery box. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it looks like there's one in the center, kind of not really doing anything. You will see that as well. Let's pull that one out as well. Yeah, it's definitely holding the battery box in place. So once you have those 4 bolts, this battery box is just going to pop up in the air. You can just place it out of your way to the side next to your battery, so nothing goes missing. Leave all the bolts for it in it. Try not to lose anything, just like that. So those are those 4 bolts there. Out of the way. Now we are getting already a lot more space, but the big one that I am going to quickly get out of the way is this intake hose. I'm just going to pull that intake temp sensor out of my way. I am going to give it a shot, just removing this hose as well and leaving this box just so there's less work to do. And we have to come to the end and clean up, etc. Looks like a little 8mm. Sometimes a 7 though, so just be ready for that. No, it is an 8. So just chuck your 13 out of the way. Let's get this intake tube off. We've got this one here. Loosen it right off just so you can just literally grab it and pop it up like that. Now if you go down to your throttle body now, you should find a little, it's similar, it's going to be the same thing, this clamp here, but down the very bottom there. But this time you want to be using a tiny little ratchet so you can get in there a bit better. Something like this. So you come, see this hose here? It's kind of in our way a bit, but there is no real way around it. If I ever find something's completely in my way and it's annoying the hell out of me, what I'll do is I'll grab a ratchet strap and I'll strap it up out of the way, just so it's a little bit, there's a little bit more vision, you know, it can make a world of difference. Okay, so yeah, I can see in there. It's looking like I'll definitely be able to reach to what I'm going for. I just need a little extension. So what I've done, guys, instead of removing that hose, I've just got it on the other side of this. So I just went under there like that, and I'm just going to bring it up out of my way, put it just to the side like so, and then look at that, we are down in there already to the starter motor. Now I'm noticing this hose here, again, it's going to be in our way, and I can see a really easy hose clamp to squeeze and literally just quickly remove that hose, and that way again the camera is going to have a nice vision all the way in, etc. Now if you don't get that to twist straight away, just put your pliers to the maximum extension. You can come in, grab the hose, give it a nice squeeze, and twist, and hopefully, yeah, you hear it go. That's it kind of letting go. Once there's a bit of a leak, the coolant will actually assist to lubricate the hose off. Just pop it off like that. Pop it off to the side. Oh my God. And now look at that. We're all the way in there already, guys. This is going to actually be quite an easy starter motor to do. So I'll just bring the camera down now. I'll flick the light on. Look at that, you're in there already. So all we're going to do now is you got this, what is it? Looks like a 17, 16 there in the center of the screen. You also have one, see that one down there? That one right there. And then it looks like, yeah, this one here doesn't actually do anything. And ironically, it's actually loose. Look at that. Someone's done work on this in the past and left that loose. But other than that, I reckon if we undo that bolt there and the one that's way down there, that starter motor will just pop out a bit. This earth strap will get out of our way, and then that positive wire can come off at the end. So we'll give it a crack. Alrighty, so I've got a 15 on an extension, and I didn't bring my rattle gun today. I'm going to be breaking it by hand. Hopefully you guys have got a rattle gun, makes it a bit easier. Oh. Alright guys, so I've got my large extension bar that I forgot I brought. Should just be able to give it a little reef. Hopefully, yeah, very tight. Someone way over tightened that in the past. So you get one by hand, and let's go down to that bottom one. No point continuing the top one if I can't get the bottom one. So just remember it's that very bottom one. Right down the bottom. Yeah, too easy. So once you got those two, it's kind of the hardest part of the job usually, getting the bolt. And it's more about getting in there, not necessarily about getting them loose. Getting in there is usually the challenge, but you can see very early in this video we've done it, so this job's not going to be too bad actually. Which is good news, because this type of thing can be a pain. Now, what I'm going to do is to wiggle it by hand. You want to wiggle the starter motor. That will often help. Not every time. Not today. I'm just going to manually do it like this. Once it gets to the point where you're ratcheting it and it's not spinning, that's when you do it by hand. Not today. Okay, so it feels like hopefully it might be a little looser now. No, it's still tight. So let's just go all the way. So one out. Very stupidly long. Okay, so yeah, stupidly long. But with that. Go for that bottom one now, guys. Just the same thing again. The starter motor will start to fall out the back of, where it's mounted to, which is the gearbox. Okay, so once you got that second bolt out, this should be happy days at this point. You should just be able to grab the starter motor, kind of flip it around, spin it, just bring it straight out the top, hopefully. Not every time though. Now see that plug there, the black one? The black plug there, hopefully you can just push on it like that. See that black plug? Just depress it like that, and it will just pop off like that. And then once you get that black plug off, I'm hoping at this point you can kind of just kind of maneuver it around. Oh, yeah, there you go. So it does get to the point where it'll just sneak out through that hole, and boom, there it is there. Now, looks like you got some secondary positive wire, so let's get that off. It's looking like a 13 or a 12. It's a 13. So again, you just grab your big bar. Preferably a rattle gun, to be honest, guys. A rattle gun would be much easier for this type of job right now, because it would just because it's got that instant torque. It'll just pop off nice and easy, but I'm gonna have to do a twister. So you kind of just pop it on like that, kind of get your starter motor into a position, and yeah, there you go, nice and loose anyway, so that's good news. So once you got that started, because it's copper, it'll just come off by hand. Keep that bolt, even though the new one should have a new one on it, a new starter motor. But other than that, guys, boom. It's actually been replaced in the past already, or it's been remanufactured, because you can see it's all spray painted. So it's already busted up in the past now. So this is the point where hopefully you've already ordered your parts factory one. You've got it in your hand. That way your car's not out of action. Pop it out of its packaging. That's what we're talking about, guys. We are talking about an OEM replica part with a 3-year warranty. So if you need it, buy it, get it in your hand, and yeah, chuck it back in. Now, there's no point me putting back this new one. I bring them out for demonstration purposes only. I'm not going to put a brand new one back in this wrecker's car. So again, it's the exact same procedure in reverse. Grab your starter motor, pop it into that same position we had it in, which looked like something like this, didn't it? You pop that on, like so. Grab that bolt, nice and straight. Make sure it's all straight and lining up nicely. You don't want to be putting it on crooked, or if the connection's not right, it's not going to start. You'll be stranded. Okay, so once you've got it in there, you can then just bring it back over this way. Kind of get that roll maneuver happening again, where it kind of goes in the hole. And then before we take it too far, you want to put that black plug back on. Now it's kind of tucked down into there, so just bring it up. Now it's very important that this is on correctly. If you put this all back in and you find you got all the lights on the dash but it just won't start, either the starter motor, the new one's busted, which is almost impossible, or that trigger wire is not on. And then you just want to twist that starter motor around, sticking it back in that hole where it came out of. Hopefully it'll go in there. Kind of, as you can imagine, guys, none of this is easy. These are quite advanced jobs, but I spoke too soon. It's in there. Let's put that top bolt in first, because as soon as you put the top one in, you'll find the bottom one will go in. So we'll put the top one in first. You just wiggle until you get it to kind of grip, because once it grips, then it's just a job of a good old ratchet again. Now, once you have the bottom one in, not tight, just in, let's put the top one, let's put the bottom one in. So we'll reach down on in. Same thing again, guys. Grab the starter motor, wiggling it around. Yeah, and we're in already. So this has actually ended up being a pretty great starter motor job. All things considered, usually starter motors are a little bit more difficult than this. Yep, so they've gotten to the point where my fingers can't turn them anymore. So at this point, we just go back to that same setup we had before. Well, we've got our 15mm on our large tool like such. Tighten it all the way up. And we reassemble everything, as you can imagine. All right, I'll tighten these up. I'll see you in a sec. Alrighty, guys, so you've got those bloody bolts tightened up nice. If you took your clamp off, take your clamp on. It's going to be easier to get it on than it is off, though. Usually. On is usually pretty good. Just make sure that clamp's nice and straight. Yep, so it's good. And then what else are we doing? We got this intake hose, which is kind of like stuffed out of the way. Don't forget, we have to do that maneuver thing where you tuck it under, bring it up. I'm going to squeeze it on like so, making sure it's on all the way around. Now, before we forget it, because it could be easily forgotten, chuck that air intake temp sensor. You can kind of just push it in. And I'm going to put our battery box back in, which is easy. Straight on in like this. You're going to put your 4 bolts back in, which is just your 1, 2, 3. And remember, they're just a 13, so you just tighten them up. Not too tight, it's nothing crazy, guys. If you go too tight, you're going to crack the plastic. We're gonna tighten up our 8mm hose clamp just chilling there. We're going to put our battery back in. Remembering positive to positive, negative to negative. Remember, there's obviously, as soon as you do this, you got spark back in the game, which if your hands are covered in petrol or for any weird reason, just remember that. And then once you've got all this tightened up, battery clamp tightened up, hose clamps in, everything's done. Don't forget your little battery access tube thingy, which was not on my car when we opened it, but yeah, it just sits there, and you'll have 2 clips that clip into there, and that would be job complete. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching another Parts Factory Australia installation tutorial video. That was actually way simpler than I thought, to be honest. I reckon it is going to take that 25-30 minutes, in and out, nice and quick, fast. Don't forget, if you need it, we've got it. Click on the title, description, you know the rest. Other than that guys, thanks for watching. My name's Lucas, I'll see you next time.